So in the chords chart, we first talk about intervals. And this just shows you what the intervals would look like. So in the key of C, because all the intervals are based on the key you're in, from a C to a D, so C being 1, D being 2, that would be a second. And C to E is a third. This would be a fourth, fifth, sixth. And all you got to do is count the lines from the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So line, space, line, space, line brings you to 5. That would be a fifth. And it's just going to keep going up like that. We see what a major and a minor third looks like. So a major third is 2 whole steps. So from C to D is a whole step. That jumps over C sharp. And then from D to E is a whole step, jumps over D sharp. A minor third is a whole step and a half step. So C to D is a whole step, D to E flat or D sharp is a half step. And that is one way that we can count out any major chord or minor chord. So the major chord will have whole, whole, half, whole. So a major third on first and then a minor third second. That will be a major chord. And then you just flip that around. So major chord, first you have a major third, then a minor third. Minor chord, first you have a minor third, then you have a major third. So your 1, where you start for a major chord, and your 5 will be exactly the same as your 1 and your 5 on your minor chord. For every major scale, you have the same order of chords. They often use these as Roman numerals. So 1, your 1 chord is going to be major. In the case of C, it will be C major. Your 2 chord will be minor. In the case of the key of C, it'll be D minor. Your 3rd one was minor. 4th one is major. 5th one is major. 6th one is minor, and the 7th one is diminished. So another easy way to look at this is cut off this one completely. You don't use diminish much. And your first one is minor. Your first one is major. Your last one is minor. And in between you have 2 sets. You have 2 minor and then 2 major. So it's kind of this exact parallel set of major and minor. Here we have inversions. Here we have inversions. So your normal chord is in root position. For a C major, you would have C, E, and G. If you put the C on the bottom up to the top, it will be inversion 1. You'd have E, G, and then C. And if you put that one up to the top, you'll be in inversion 2. So you'd have G, C, and E. And that's the same way with every single chord. Now this just shows you how some of the additional chords are made. A C2 or C sus4, C6, major 7, major 9th, major 11th, how it will look when you add in those extra letterings. Also shows you the difference between a major 7th and a dominant 7th. And how you create a diminished chord or an augmented chord. So we do these by thirds. A diminished chord is 2 minor thirds, and the augmented chord is 2 major thirds. Here we show you the order of the major scale, but when you have 7ths. So it's still going to be a major, minor as your 2nd, minor as your 3rd, major 7th as your 4th, and normally we have a major chord here, but this is a dominant 7th, which the only difference is that 7th note, which we looked at earlier. Then you have a minor 7th, and this is called a flat 5 chord. But it would be a diminished chord if you didn't have the 7th. And then what your inversions would actually look like when you have a 4-note chord. So the beginning is normal. You just draw that bottom note or root note up to the top and you get inversion 1. Put that bottom note to the top and you get inversion 2. Bottom note to the top again, you get inversion 3 now. Here we have a chart showing all of your chords in each of your scales. So C, and then all of your sharp scales, and then all of your flat scales, and every single chord that you have in those, if you don't feel like doing the math to figure out what they are.